In many families, the relationship between sisters-in-law is often expected to be close, supporting each other like real sisters. Yet reality is not always so peaceful. The biggest reason often stems from subtle comparisons and hidden jealousy. When one is favored more by the parents-in-law or receives more attention and praise, the other easily feels disadvantaged. From this sense of unfairness, resentment and envy begin to form. Not only that, differences in financial conditions can also strain the relationship further. If one sister-in-law enjoys a comfortable life, dresses neatly, and often buys gifts for the in-laws, while the other struggles financially and has fewer opportunities, the disparity unintentionally becomes a crack. One thinks she is being looked down upon, while the other believes her counterpart is not trying hard enough. Things that seem trivial, like a glance, a joke, or a compliment from the parents-in-law saying, "This daughter-in-law is more skillful, more capable," can be enough to stir discomfort. The feeling of constantly being compared makes an already fragile relationship even more distant. And just a few accumulated incidents are enough to turn simmering dissatisfaction into real conflict, marking the beginning of endless family drama. Another cause of tension lies in differences in personality and behavior. Within a family, each person comes from different backgrounds, environments, and ways of thinking. Thus, living under the same roof does not always mean harmony. One sister-in-law may be outspoken, saying whatever she thinks, always eager to express her views directly. Meanwhile, another may be quiet, reserved, sensitive, and easily offended. This contrast inadvertently creates distance. Honest advice may be misunderstood as criticism, while silence may be perceived as contempt or coldness. Beyond personality, the division of household responsibilities also frequently becomes a focal point of disputes. In many traditional families, cooking, cleaning, and caring for the parents-in-law or children often fall on the daughters-in-law. If they cannot find mutual agreement, each may believe she does more and suffers greater burdens, and frustration quickly grows. One may claim she works too hard, while the other is labeled as lazy or shirking duties. This constant comparison makes the household atmosphere increasingly heavy. Even seemingly minor matters, such as who cooks better, who raises children more skillfully, or who receives more praise from the parents-in-law, can become excuses for disapproval. These differences, though ordinary, will accumulate into serious conflicts if there is no empathy or sharing. And when neither side is willing to compromise, family life inevitably falls into prolonged coldness and tension. In relationships between sisters-in-law, money and property are always among the most common sources of conflict. Living together, finances are highly sensitive. Any lack of transparency or favoritism creates distance. Especially when parents-in-law divide assets such as land, houses, jewelry, or even small gifts, comparisons and disputes arise easily. One feels shortchanged, while the other thinks her counterpart is greedy. These opposing views gradually erode what little bond sisters-in-law may have. Families fall into disharmony simply because of a few square meters of land or some money. One sister-in-law may argue that since she cares more for the parents-in-law, putting in more effort, she deserves a greater share. The other believes assets should be divided equally, without favoritism. When both cling to their own reasoning, disputes become inevitable. Moreover, differences in financial standing intensify the rift. One with stability can afford to spend, give gifts, and win favor with the parents-in-law, while the other struggles, saving every penny. This contrast fosters inferiority on one side and accusations of showing off on the other. Thus, jealousy and suspicion deepen further. When financial disputes erupt, not only do sisters-in-law turn against each other, but even the bond between brothers is damaged. Husbands, in defending their wives, may unintentionally clash with their own siblings, leading to fractured family ties. Without tactful resolution, the household can easily collapse into the bitter state of money lost, affection gone. Another common trigger in sister-in-law relationships is the constant competition and comparison in daily life. Under one roof, even the smallest actions can become subjects of scrutiny. Who cooks better? Who cleans more thoroughly? Who earns more praise from the parents-in-law? All of these inadvertently turn into an endless rivalry. The praised one feels proud, while the other feels slighted, believing she is undervalued. Many families live in a state of surface peace, hidden storms. In front of the parents-in-law, the sisters-in-law strive to be diligent and attentive to gain favor. But once the door closes, resentful glances and sarcastic remarks emerge. Sometimes a simple compliment like, "This daughter-in-law is more hardworking," is enough to make the other feel she is being compared, leading to jealousy and estrangement. Children, too, often become a sensitive subject. Whose child studies better, behaves better, or is more loved by the grandparents? All these become reasons for silent rivalry. Such comparisons, seemingly harmless, plant deep seeds of hurt and pride that are not easily healed. Gradually, this hidden competition makes the household atmosphere suffocating. Family meals cease to be warm gatherings, instead turning into stages where each tries to maintain her image. Without understanding and compromise, small clashes accumulate into heated conflicts, pushing the sisters-in-law into a state of polite on the surface, hostile underneath. When these conflicts are not resolved in time, the consequences for the family are severe. The household atmosphere grows tense and heavy. Meals once meant for warmth become filled with silence, suspicious glances, or cutting remarks. Parents-in-law find themselves in an impossible position, trying to be fair but inadvertently making one side feel slighted. Beyond that, the relationship between brothers also suffers greatly. A husband defending his wife may end up opposing his own sibling, creating rifts in kinship. What begins as small disputes between sisters-in-law can escalate into major conflicts between nuclear families, weakening the family's foundation. Over time, if left unresolved, emotional distance grows wider. Even if the families still live together or gather for holidays, only surface politeness remains. Warmth is replaced by coldness, trust by caution. Though the family appears large, it lacks the harmony and comfort it should have. More troubling still, these conflicts can affect the next generation. Children who witness constant discord among adults may grow distant or adopt negative behaviors themselves. Thus, because of unnecessary jealousy and comparisons, an entire family risks losing its most valuable treasure, unity and affection. This is the ultimate consequence of sisters-in-law who cannot live in harmony,